In the ancient land of Canaan, where rolling hills met the vast open sky, lived a boy named Joseph. He was the 11th son of Jacob, but the firstborn of his beloved wife, Rachel. From his very birth, Joseph was cherished, not just by his father, but by God himself. Joseph was different from his brothers. He had a spirit of faith, a heart that trusted God, and a remarkable gift. He dreamed dreams that foretold the future. But he had no idea these dreams would set him on an incredible journey of trials, triumphs, and the unfolding of God's magnificent plan for his life. Jacob loved Joseph more than any of his other sons, and to show this special affection, he gave him a beautiful coat of many colors. This wasn't just a gift, it was a symbol of favor, a visible sign of his father's deep love. But his brothers saw the favor their father showed him, and their hearts filled with jealousy. The seeds of envy began to sprout. When Joseph shared his dreams with them, the tension only grew worse. He told them, "Last night, I had a dream. We were all binding sheaves of grain in the field, and suddenly, my sheaf rose and stood upright, while all of your sheaves gathered around and bowed down to mine." The brothers were furious. They whispered among themselves, "Does he really think he will rule over us? Impossible!" Their jealousy festered, blinding them to the divine origin of Joseph's dreams. They only saw a younger brother boasting, and it would lead them to a decision that would change Joseph's life forever. One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers as they tended the flocks. As he approached them in the distance, they saw their opportunity. "Here comes the dreamer," they sneered. "Let's teach him a lesson he won't forget." They plotted to kill him, but Reuben, the eldest, pleaded with them. "No, let's not shed his blood. Just throw him into this empty pit out here in the wilderness." He secretly planned to come back later and rescue him. So, they stripped Joseph of his beautiful coat and threw him into a dry, dark pit. Imagine the fear, the confusion, the deep sense of betrayal he must have felt. But even in that terrifying darkness, God was with him. Before long, a caravan of Ishmaelite traders passed by on their way to Egypt. Judah, another brother, had an idea. "Why don't we sell him to these merchants? We'll get some silver and won't have his blood on our hands." And so, for 20 pieces of silver, Joseph was sold into slavery. His beautiful coat, now dipped in goat's blood, was sent back to Jacob, who was left to mourn a son he believed was dead. Joseph's journey brought him to Egypt, a foreign land with strange customs and powerful rulers. He was sold to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh. Despite his new life as a slave, Joseph's heart remained faithful to God. He worked diligently, and God blessed everything he touched. Potiphar was so impressed that he put Joseph in charge of his entire household, but trouble was never far away. Potiphar's wife, seeing Joseph's integrity and good looks, tried to seduce him. When he firmly refused, saying, "How could I do this great evil and sin against God?" she falsely accused him. This cruel lie landed Joseph in prison. Yet, even in the darkness of a dungeon, God's hand was still upon him. Joseph's divine gift for interpreting dreams soon became known. Two of Pharaoh's servants, the chief cupbearer and the chief baker, were imprisoned with him. One night, they both had troubling dreams. The cupbearer described his dream of a vine with grapes he pressed for Pharaoh. The baker told of baskets of bread on his head being eaten by birds. Joseph, giving all credit to God, interpreted their dreams. He told the cupbearer he would be restored to his position in 3 days, and the baker that he would be executed. And it happened exactly as Joseph had said. To full years passed. The cupbearer, now free, had forgotten all about Joseph. Then, Pharaoh himself had to disturbing dreams that none of his magicians or wise men could interpret. He dreamed of 7 fat, healthy cows being devoured by 7 thin, gaunt cows. Then he dreamed of 7 plump heads of grain being swallowed by 7 thin, withered heads. Finally, the cupbearer remembered the young man in prison. He told Pharaoh, "There is a young Hebrew man in prison who can interpret dreams." Joseph was quickly brought before the most powerful man in the world. Pharaoh told him the dreams. Joseph humbly replied, "It is not in me." God will give Pharaoh a favorable answer. He explained that the dreams were one and the same. The 7 fat cows and healthy ears of grain represented 7 years of great abundance throughout Egypt, but the 7 thin cows and withered ears represented 7 years of devastating famine that would follow. Joseph didn't stop there. He gave Pharaoh a wise plan. He advised him to appoint a discerning man to oversee the land, to collect 1/5 of the harvest during the years of plenty, and store it in cities. This way, Egypt would have food to survive the famine. Pharaoh was amazed. "Can we find anyone like this man, in whom is the Spirit of God?" he declared. He turned to Joseph and said, "Since God has shown you all this, there is none so discerning and wise as you. You shall be over my house, and all my people shall be ruled according to your word." Just like that, Joseph went from a prisoner to the second most powerful man in Egypt. As the famine spread across the region, it eventually reached Canaan. Jacob sent his sons to Egypt to buy grain, completely unaware of who they were about to face. Joseph recognized them immediately, but they had no idea the powerful Egyptian governor was their long-lost brother. In that moment, Joseph understood God had not brought him to this place for revenge, but to save lives. He tested his brothers to see if their hearts had changed, speaking harshly and even keeping one of them, Simeon, as a hostage. But he also provided for them, and finally, overwhelmed with emotion, he revealed his identity. "I am Joseph, your brother," he said through tears, "the one you sold into Egypt. But don't be distressed or angry with yourselves. It was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you." Joseph forgave his brothers completely, demonstrating the incredible power of God's grace. He invited his entire family, including his aging father, to come live in Egypt, where he could provide for them. The reunion with his father, Jacob, was a moment of overwhelming joy. God's promises had been fulfilled, and the family was whole once more. Joseph's story is a powerful reminder that even in suffering, betrayal, and unimaginable hardship, God is always at work. He is faithful to his promises, and his divine purposes will always prevail. From a pit to a palace, from slavery to sovereignty, Joseph's life is a testament to God's providence, forgiveness, and unfailing faithfulness. He was the dreamer, the faithful servant, who became a savior, not just for Egypt, but for his own family and the future of his people. Remember Joseph's story, and trust that no matter what you're going through, God is at work in your life too. Thanks for watching. If this story inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more.